Welcome to CFC Fan TV. We are here for our live team news reaction. Our game against Qarabag is imminent and it looks like such an interesting and exciting place to be. I'm so gutted that I couldn't make the trip to Baku. Everyone who I know who's gone is having a wonderful time and it looks like such a brilliant place to be. So I am so upset that I couldn't make it, but the team sheet is in and this is a must-win game for us. And I think we can do it. I think Antonio Conte has got it spot on. You know, we have a huge game this weekend against Liverpool. We really do need to make sure that we get maximum points there. So it's important to try and juggle and make use of our squad. Liverpool didn't have a good result last night. You know, they played very well. They're 3-0 up and all of a sudden it was 3-3. So they will be devastated with that. But going into the game on the weekend, they have it all, you know, they've lucked out. They play a day before us, they play closer than us, and they're at home. So we really do need to make full use of our squad, and I think Antonio Conte has pretty much got it spot on. Our team sheet, I may as well go through it. We've gone for Thibaut Courtois in goal, as I'm sure you'd expect. That, to me, is a given. There was talk that perhaps we could play Caballero, but for me, when you go away from home in the Champions League, you have to go with a solid defence. You know, keep it strong at the back, keep the shape there and allow everybody else to flourish, perhaps make some changes further forward, but keep the back line solid. And playing Thibaut Courtois makes complete sense. He's playing very well this season and this is the type of game where we need to be very structured at the back, because Qarabag came into this group and were originally perceived by some to be the whipping boys, and it hasn't been like that at all. Teams have struggled to get a result in Baku, so we need to be very, very aware of the threat that they pose, and I think that playing him makes complete sense. Cesar Azpilicueta is a captain for the day, and that pretty much guarantees a win generally, doesn't it? So Azpilicueta will captain the team. Alongside him at the back is David Luiz. He's back playing as the main man in a back three. This is very interesting because I think what that probably means, I'm reading between the lines here, but I think what it probably means is that Christensen will play against Liverpool. So that's very interesting, the way that they have switched roles, and I think it's probably correct. But David Luiz will play today, and he will be eager to play himself back into Chelsea's first team, back into the starting lineup in the biggest games possible. Alongside them is Rudiger. Makes complete sense. But again, that would suggest, correct me if I'm wrong here, by the way. Make sure I'm going to be going through some of your questions, so get your questions in. But correct me if I'm wrong. Do you think my logic here is flawed or accurate? Rudiger starting means that Gary Cahill will start against Liverpool, which, again, is quite an interesting way to do it. Perhaps not one that I would agree with, but I do understand why, and there is no doubt about it. Gary Cahill is a man who Antonio Conte seems to have a lot of respect for and somebody who he admires on the field. So Rudiger plays tonight. What that means going forward, let me know in the comments below. We've then got Marcos Alonso playing at left back. Makes complete sense to me. I love that man so much. Anybody who scores 2 against Tottenham at Wembley is a man after my own heart. So he plays left back. And then we've got Zappacosta right back. Again, this makes sense. And by the way, the man who he's obviously playing in place of is Victor Moses, who I believe still has a knock, not quite fit. But just to talk about something else briefly, check out either our Facebook page or our Twitter account or my personal Instagram account or the channel Instagram account. Go on anything. We did a video for Victor Moses. Make sure that you vote for him. He is in line to be African Player of the Year, and he's up against some great players. He's up against Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, but Victor Moses has a chance of being African Player of the Year. We have made a video suggesting that he has a chance. We made it in collaboration with the BBC. So make sure, go onto one of these accounts and vote for Victor Moses to be African Player of the Year. Really hope that he gets that accolade. I'm sure it's something that would mean the world to him. But tonight, it's going to be Zappacosta playing there. I think he can play well. I think he can do the job. He's looked shaky at times, but I also thought that he looked very good. I think he made his debut, actually, in the return leg here against Qarabag. He played that night. He scored a goal. Whether he meant it is up for debate. My instinct would suggest that it was a cross that ended up in the back of the net. But, you know, you take it anyway. There's no such thing as a bad goal, is there? So, Zappacosta tonight. Interestingly, we've gone for a Kante and Fabregas pivot. That's something that in the past hasn't worked. It's something that we struggled with in the past. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether this can come to fruition in the way that we want it to, because those two have had games where it really hasn't worked. Earlier this season, I can remember doing a review of our game, I think it was the first day of the season against Burnley, where I said it's a pivot that I never want to see again. And we're going to see it tonight. So it will either prove me completely wrong and prove that I don't know what I'm talking about, or I will have something to say going tomorrow when I review this game, because we've seen that in the past those two can be overrun. Fabregas, an incredible player, a player I love to see in the team, but I think that he needs to play in a three-man midfield. I think the duties that come with playing in a two, he doesn't possess all of the attributes that are necessary. Does he track back enough? Is he good enough in the air? Is he good enough at winning the ball? Does he cover enough ground? These are questions that are asked of Fabregas. The others, Fabregas can play a pass that other players can't even see. So I want him in the team, but I just want him alongside Bakayoko and Kante. Or Danny Drinkwater, in fact. Again, moving slightly further forward, and now this is where it gets very interesting. We've got Willian, Hazard and Pedro playing up front. And now I assume what that means is we'll have Pedro on the right, Willian on the left, and Hazard as a false nine. Comment below, let me know what you think here. But for me, that is the natural suggestion. I think it makes sense. I think we need to preserve Alvaro Morata's fitness. We've got a massive game against Liverpool, I mentioned already, so Alvaro Morata being fit for that game is essential to any aspirations that we have of winning that game. Alvaro Morata is key. So we need to preserve his fitness, but we're back to the old issue of why have we gone into a season with only two strikers at the club? Because this is a day where Batshuayi would have played, it's a day where Tammy Abraham would have played if he were at the club. So we're playing with a false nine, which is something that doesn't quite sit that comfortably with me. But we're going to have to get on with it. There's no doubt in my mind that Hazard can do the job. He has an eye for a goal. He scored a couple on the weekend. I thought it was mesmerising, a dazzling form the other day against West Brom. So he's certainly in goal-scoring form. And as a club, as an entire first 11, we score so many goals in this competition. In fact, from all different aspects of the pitch. I think that's what makes us so dangerous. Our last 7 goals away from home in the Champions League have been scored by 7 different players. That's an outstanding record. And when you have a team who score goals from all over the pitch, it makes you so hard to play against. So there's a lot to be positive about here. I think we're going to be okay. Something else that's very interesting. Sterling is on the bench. If this goes well, Sterling could make his Champions League debut away at Qarabag, and what a young age, ripe age to make it. He's looked very good playing for our youth setup, and it's a chance that he deserves. So it's lovely to see. We had Musonda playing against Forest recently, and it's nice to see these young lads who are doing so well at youth level being given a chance. I just hope we can get the win. If we get a win, we're pretty much guaranteed that we're through, and that would just be a wonderful thing to happen. I'm going to go to some questions now. So if you do have any questions, make sure that you get them in for us. Our first question comes in from, I don't know who it's from, but the question is, will a lack of rotation cost us later in the season? And I'm not convinced that this team demonstrates a lack of rotation. I think that a lot of the players who aren't starting today will start against Liverpool. So I think, I'm not convinced that Rudiger will start against Liverpool. I'm not convinced that David Luiz will start against Liverpool. I'm not convinced that Zappacosta will start against Liverpool. I don't think Willian will, and I don't think Pedro will. So we have rotated the team. We haven't done it completely, but we need to give Qarabag the respect that they deserve. It's a hard place to go and get a result. We've seen other sides, other good sides go there and come up short. So I think that we've pretty much given them the respect that they deserve. We've played a first team. Let's remember, this is a Premier competition. This is the holy grail of all football competitions in the entire world. Club competitions, at least. So we can't go into it and play a completely weakened team. We have to get the balance right. And for me, I think we have got that balance pretty much spot on. If you disagree, would you have liked to have seen more rotation, or do you think we've got it right? Equally, do you think we should have played a stronger team? The argument I think you could make is Alvaro Morata should have played. I think you could easily make that assessment here. And if you did play Morata, it would probably mean that you would, I suppose the way that you could do it is to also bring Danny Drinkwater in and play Morata and Hazard and drop Pedro and Willian, which would have been interesting to see. But that about concludes this. So I'm going to now get to a stream and try and find, actually I'm going to run home and watch this game. It would be lovely to win. It would be lovely to qualify with a game to spare. It would mean that our home game against Atletico Madrid were an opportunity to play some of the youth and experiment and give Conte an opportunity to rest some players, which would be well deserved. Right, I'll see you all very soon. Comment below, let me know what you think. And if I'm going to go for a prediction, I think we're going to win this game. I think we're going to win it comfortably. And I think it's going to be 2-0 to Chelsea. Go on, you Blues.